I arranged the room, I created the presentation deck, I did the FAQs. Really kind of lean into that experience as specific what you did on the project. And that really helps us get a sense of what you were responsible for. And it helps us know your experience and get a really good sense of what you have done. So starting for preparation, and this fits into what Ola was saying about preparation of resume, make sure you know what your education equivalent is to Canadian universities, because a lot of the education systems are different. For example, I did my education in the UK. We actually do 3-year bachelor degrees, which are equivalent to a 4-year Canadian. So it's just knowing that. And also look at your work experience. Titles are not always the same across the board. I've worked in roles that are not actually being titled a business analyst, but are business analysts. I've worked as record system manager. At the end of the day, they're all requirements gathering, managing stakeholders, managing projects. So really get a sense of how your individual experience fits with the roles. And I can't stress this enough, have a look at the postings, especially the qualifications and duties. How does your experience fit in with those duties? Because those are what the interview is going to be based about. An average interview, we have between 45 minutes and 60 minutes to really assess. So we're going to be focusing in on the types of experience that the roles are going to be completing. So what I think really helps, and this helped me a lot, was to look at each of my work history and pull out specific examples. So pull out that, okay, so I was involved in a training program. What did I do specifically? And that lends back to the, what is your part? Pull out examples. So you have a range of examples. So if, say, in an interview, you were asked about training, you could have a couple of examples ready to go based on your experience. So in terms of research, one of the things is we really, as an interviewer, we want to know why you want the job. Like, there might be a lot of different business analysts or project managers or technical jobs out on the market, but why are you interested in our role? What makes you think you're a good fit, and why do you want to come work for us? It's very clear if you're interviewing a candidate that has a really good sense of why they want to work there, and not necessarily just it's a BA job. No, I want to be a BA job because I'm interested in XYZ of your company, especially if it's maybe a project position or contract work, or they mention some specific projects or initiatives that you've been working on. If you can research and have a good foundation of what that may entail, that will help you in the interview, because you can get a sense of what sort of projects they're going to be asking about and what sort of technical questions you may face. And also, if you have a background knowledge, that's going to sit really well in terms of having researched and you have a little bit more awareness of the organization. So strategic plans, commonly available on the website of the company you're applying for, and website content, really good idea because they're forward-facing content of what organizations are actually presenting to the public. So they're a good starting point. So the day of the interview, if you are in an in-person interview, which is starting up again, know where it is, do a trial journey, not on the day, but don't actually turn up too far in advance. Often the interview slots are booked for a specific time, and the interviewers are not going to be available before that time. So whereas definitely don't be late, you don't need to turn up half an hour beforehand, because they're likely not to be able to start the interview until your allotted slot. So turn up early, but not too early. If it's a remote interview, be familiar with the tool that is going to be used: Zoom, Skype, Google Meets. The library has free access to LinkedIn Learning with a library card, which is a fantastic resource that has overviews of some of these tools. Or try it out, download the tool, chat with a friend over the tool, make sure you're comfortable with where everything is. Dress smartly, professionally. It never hurts, even if it's going to be in a position that is going to wear sweatpants and jeans all day. It never hurts to look too professional. And relax, try and be nervous. Interviews are nerve-wracking for everyone, so the interviewers also are feeling nervous too. So just gonna go from there. So If you're asked to do a presentation in advance, now I'm seeing these a lot more. I don't think I've actually been in an interview in Canada where I haven't seen a presentation element used. So if you're asked to do a presentation, really focus in and review the question that's being asked. Do not take a chance to tell me everything about your entire life history. We want to know the specific answers to the question that's being asked. And it could be on a variety of things. But structure it as you would do a work meeting, agenda, content summary, practice beforehand. Use key examples, key concepts. Really try and get a sense of why you would be able to answer the question that's asked. Often it's very personal. It could go over two ways. It's either tell us why you're a good fit or something along that lines, or I've also had experience of the ones with it are more job specific, like tell me the future of information management, and where you've had to come up with like future challenges, and you can really take them in a lot of different ways, but keep to time and practice. So interview questions are really going to be divided into, as far as I can tell, three main parts. And this is regardless of the role you're going through, whether it's a BA or not. And this has been my experience for all the interviews we've had. So first up will be general, well, not necessarily first, the order may be mixed up, but you're going to have a category that's general topics. So icebreakers kind of get to the information of why are you a good fit? Why are you interested? Why should we hire you? Those general, what makes you think you're a good fit for the organization? What are you going to bring? Kind of through. Next up is communications. Communication skill, teamwork, diversity, increased importance across all Canadian workplaces. So it is more than likely that you're probably going to have some questions around teamwork, listening skills, collaboration, good communication. So it's really, how do you function as part of a team? You know, are you a good team member? How do you approach difficult conversations? How do you deal with conflict? Really getting a sense of how you work in a modern Canadian workplace. And then you're likely to face some questions about diversity and inclusivity. And it's not just enough to say, I'm from a diverse background, or I am not a native Canadian, I'm an immigrant. We want to understand how it impacts your professional work, like all voices are heard, perspectives are all considered, everyone's voice is good, decisions free from bias. So really how it impacts your work. And then for more technical and role specific, these are really going to be based on those qualification questions. So rolling questions, so things like requirements analysis, stakeholder management. Do you have experience of coding? Have you used the system? All those kind of questions. They're going to be linked to the job posting. Because we don't have that much time in an interview, we have to really focus on what questions are going to be asked. You also have to ask the same questions for every candidate, because that's what you're basing your decision on, is the answers to those questions. So this is really where a lot of the experience and the examples of what you've done as previous experience is really going to come into play to give the interviewers a sense of your work experience and how you can take that knowledge of something similar and apply it to the role. And it may be that it may not be the same field, but it could be the same type of role. So that's something, it doesn't necessarily, if it's not the same industry, you can still use the transferable skills. It's all the same technical skills. And not all examples have to be a success. Not all projects are successful, but if you can turn around and say, actually, we ended up cancelling this project because of X, Y, Z reasons. As long as you can articulate what it was, it doesn't have to be a success. Although it's good if you can have positive examples too. So what I have is a couple of slides now with some example questions. So I'm not going to read them out because there's a lot there, but basically if I was asked the question of, do I have experience of training? If somebody answers, yes, I do, as an interviewer, that kind of leaves me with all sorts of questions. I don't really get a sense of what they've done. The second question goes a bit further. It's like, oh, so they've done a range of things. They have tailoring. I get a better sense of what's kind of going on. Don't really get a sense from that answer, it's a good answer, but I don't get a sense that they've actually done that work before. Whereas the third answer takes that answer and then adds to it and says, oh yeah, I have got this experience. I did this and it was successful. Really gets a sense of, oh, so they have done this type of work before. And then I have the same with like a systems overview of, do you have using this system? No, okay, that's fair enough. That doesn't give me anything. You're honest, which you always have to be honest, but then you can take that and go, well, no, but I can learn new systems. So you're showing that you have adaptability and that you have a better way forward. Or you can take that a step further and say, no, but I have used something similar and I can use that to help springboard me into the next step. And then closing and follow up, you will likely be asked about Canadian immigration status. It's something that everyone has to check regardless of status or not. There'll be a chance to ask questions. It's your chance to ask any clarifying questions. If there's anything you want to know about the role, always end on a positive note, summarize and say, thank you very much for your time. I'm really still interested in the role. Everything I've heard is great. And then follow it up with an email as well. And then 2, summary. So some tips are be prepared, understand how your education skills and experience can benefit the role. Be truthful, answer questions asked, share your experience and the work you have personally done on projects and experience. And it doesn't all have to be relevant. If you want to pull in non-professional experience to help answer, especially some of the communication and the community involvement kind of work, those work great too. It doesn't always have to be that professional, and use specific example of past experience and always be positive. That's the one thing that will really shine and stand out in an interview. So I am aware that that was an incredibly quick run through. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. That was awesome. I had a few notes here. Practice, practice, practice. You have to make sure that you keep to time, very important. Take note of diversity and inclusion in your answers when you give them. And also, not every project necessarily is a success. So you don't have to necessarily throw away, those experiences that you gleaned from there. So one thing Amanda say, you can, maybe mention at the end of the day, based on certain requirements or analysis that was done, it was figured out that it would be best that this solution or this project not go live for certain reasons. So give the reasons. It doesn't have to be a successful project, but give your reasons and state exactly your contribution to that particular project. So there are a lot that Amanda has said. They are in the chat. We have a summary of some of them in the chat. And I also want to say that we are also streaming live on YouTube for those that cannot join right now. And right now, we're also going to be moving to the networking time. And the way this is going to go is that if you look at your chat, you can see from your chat that you can actually chat with someone individually. So if there's someone that you've not met or someone that you hope to have met, we have a lot of senior BAs here. We have Kemi, the ones I know. We have James, Amanda, Sandra, Jennifer, myself, Oge. So maybe there's a senior BA that you'd like to connect with. You can just send them a message in the chat. So in the tool section of your chat, there's a drop down there where you can pick a particular person to chat with. And please, we are professionals, so be professional in whatever conversation that you're having there. So I would just give a few minutes for that chat, or a few minutes or a few seconds for that chat, and we'll move on with our next speaker. So I'll just give a minute for you just to send any information, and it could be a thank you. Send that information, and then we can move on to our third speaker, who will be Sandra. Yes, please include your job title in your name, and this helps identify who exactly you are and what your job role is. And this is very important for the networking.
Yeah, I also want to acknowledge the presence of Chichi. I see her job title, BSA, I assume that is a business system analyst. I also know Yvonne is here. She's also a BA here in Halifax. Thanks, Yvonne, for joining. Yeah, as I see, I'll speak. So it could just be a quick hello and try to exchange contact, and then you can follow up with whoever the contact person is. We have Jennifer here. She's an IABA rep. You may have some questions for her personally. You may want to exchange contacts. Please feel free. And don't forget, if you have a general questions for the speakers, please drop it in the chat. We are collating those questions, and they will get to address them at the end of the presentations. Thank you.
Yeah, this form of networking with COVID has changed a lot of things. So networking in the virtual world is not it's not easy. So I'm seeing a lot of messages, and I'm sure we are all experiencing the same. So if I'm not responding to you fast enough, please bear with me.
I'm also sharing. I hope Ola and Amanda, I hope you don't mind. I want to share your LinkedIn profile so that people can follow you and connect with you over LinkedIn.
That's fine.
All right.
That works for me.
Thank you.
So just be 1 minute more. I know if I have to, respond to everything, then I think we'll have to say like some 1 hour extra. So you know me, guys, so you can always reach out, send an email to Career Aid, or if you really want to reach out to any of our speakers, you also have their LinkedIn profile. You can message them, connect. And just one tip, while you are connecting to them on LinkedIn, please write a short message introducing yourself so they know who you are. Tell them that you attended an event that is spoken. Is very important. It's important. It's professional to introduce yourself on LinkedIn. So just don't send a request and they'll be wondering, okay, what's going on? So just put a short message. You attended this event, and I'm sure they'll be glad to add you to bring you into their network. So I think that 1 minute is up. For everybody that sent me a message while I was talking, I would respond, but I have to do this first, and I'll get back to us on that. So now we are going to be moving over to Sandra. Sandra, okay. Sandra is awesome. It's awesome. She's okay. I don't talk too much about, but my experience with her has been excellent. Herself and Amanda, they've, in my current past life, they've done a lot to make my life very easy. So using this opportunity to also say a big thank you to them. Sandra is an experienced BA with over 25 years experience working in the financial services, and she's also worked in the post-secondary education industry. She has held multiple roles within the business analyst job family, and Sandra is excited about the work and loves to share what she has learned during how many years. Now, This is a very good opportunity for Sandra to, impact us with nuggets, that will help us. So she'll be talking about how you can excel in your current role as a BA. So what are those skills that you need? How should you navigate office politics? How do you stand out? How do you manage conflict in the workplace? So Sandra, over to you, and we are ready to learn. Thank you.
I'm on mute.
You're on mute, okay.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. I'm going to get a t-shirt of that for the end of after all of this, because I'm the one who's doing the constantly on mute. So I'm just going to go.
Okay. Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, perfect. So just to give a little background, what I thought about doing is kind of going through some of those soft skills that really help on the kind of that day-to-day work, or how to help you succeed in different situations. So the objectives are outlined. I want to start with what happens when you get the job. So what is that first day or first few days like, that kind of piece. I also want to talk about soft skills versus technical skills. And then I want to talk about some skills for success. Oh, sorry.
Sorry for that.
Is that a background? Okay. And also some other thoughts. And then if there's any questions, we'll, as Harry said, we'll probably do those a bit after. This is all from my experience. So if something doesn't sit right, or you think about something else, or want to ask a question about something, please, these are just things as a manager and a team member. These are skills that I look at. So first things first, congratulations, you got the job. You are starting in a new situation. It might be your first job in Canada. It might be your 20th job. But for the first few days, like, it's okay to be nervous, and everybody will expect that, because it's a new situation. You're having to learn everything. You're having to meet new people. And it can be, I think people can kind of worry about that. They worry about a few things, but it's okay to be nervous. Just go with it. One thing I find is get familiar with the organizational structure. Ask if there's an organizational chart, or have your manager sit down and provide an outline of that. It's really helpful when you're meeting people to kind of understand where they fit in the organization and how they fit in with what you are going to be doing. So for example, if they work in Department A, and Department A might send in some information requests, but someone from Department B would always be project, and they're your client. So one stakeholder is Department B. It helps you kind of gain an understanding of what that will look like. Ask questions. Don't worry about asking questions that you think, oh, it's probably simple, I should know this. Ask questions. It's hard the first week. There's a lot that's going to be coming at you. Take your time. Ask the question. And don't be afraid to ask it multiple times, because it's all new. And, everybody's been there. So who your manager is, who your coworkers are, they've all been there. One thing I find with every organization is the dreaded acronyms. So I've only worked at one organization where they actually provided an online acronym dictionary, so that for anybody new, if somebody mentions acronyms in meetings or whatever, you could go to that and look at it. Ask if there's something out there. If not, start building one. I always start typing one up in Excel or start writing it up in, in the back of a notebook. In a couple of weeks, you'll be using them. Like, you'll get it. It's just, I find that everybody starts using them, and it's really hard for new people. I find it hard every job. Introduce yourself. Make yourself known. If you're in the lunchroom, if we ever get back to work, if you're in the lunchroom, if you're around, introduce yourself. And the last thing is dive in. Dive in with both feet. Enjoy it. Get to know the job, get to know the people, get to know the team, get to know your manager. Enjoy it. Just dive in. The next topic I want to talk about is soft skills. So as a manager, when I'm reviewing resumes, I'm kind of looking at, okay, what are the technical skills that you're bringing to this, So we've outlined that in the job description. I want to make sure that when I'm looking at the resumes, there's a fit. So if I'm looking for process, mapping processes or adding efficiencies, I want to see if there's something in that resume that's, I've done process modeling with UML and all this stuff. That kind of gives me an idea that you've done that work. What I look at in the interview is also some of the soft skills. So when you're giving responses, are you showing that you are a team player? Are you showing that you have initiative? So it's those two things that I think a manager is really looking at. It's the marriage of those two components. What I'm going to do now is just talk about some of those soft skills that I consider as a manager, ones that I look for. So the first one is communication. It's the ability to communicate in a concise and thoughtful manner. And it's communicating, it's listening, so that you're not worrying about what you're going to say, but you're listening to what the problem is, what the other person is saying, and trying to understand what's going on. It's a new world. We are looking at, communication skills are so important right now because we have to switch. And now we're communicating by Teams, by text, Teams messaging, email. And you want to make sure that you're getting your message across, because now that we have many more opportunities for communication, we're also adding more ways to be misunderstood. So take the time, review your message, make sure it has the right tone, the right information, and you're laying everything out correctly. And another thing is, and this is something that I've kind of learned going along, is being comfortable in a variety of situations, like speaking to senior managers versus speaking to my peers, speaking in front of a large group, speaking in front of a small group. It's things that you'll get comfortable with, but it is important to kind of focus on that. The next item, the next skill is adaptability. Successful employees, they're able to adapt to new work arrangements, new priorities, shifting priorities, completely changing priorities, and also organizational changes. We are in industries now that things do not stay the same, and change is the norm. It's going to happen. So understanding that makes it so much easier to kind of like, okay, I just have to pivot. And when you are an adaptable employee, it shows that you are resourceful, you are determined, and you're productive because you're able to continue no matter what is happening. You are able to pivot to meet the challenge. And that's a key skill. Being a team player, be an active member of the team, respect all members of the team, and appreciate what everyone brings to the table. As a manager, this is really important. I like my team to be able to communicate, to feel comfortable to share ideas, to share concerns, and to feel listened. And I have a privilege to work with a terrific team. You provide assistance. If there's a project and it's all hands on deck to help testing or help bring it in, everybody volunteers and tries to engage. You're collaborative. You like to work with people. You like to share ideas and get an objective met. Be kind. You have a sense of humor and you're positive. Also, it's investing in the team and making sure the team is a success. So that's what I look for a team player. You have initiative. Initiative, you're proactive. You are looking for improvement opportunities, not just for the team, not just for work, but also for yourself. So you want someone who's going to take initiative. You're researching, you're documenting, you're proposing, and you're prepared. But initiative is also looking at where you want your career to go and being able to say, okay, I want to take my career in this direction. What are the objectives? And take the initiative to have the conversation with your manager to say, this is something I'd like to focus on, and see where those opportunities are. I've had terrific conversations with various team members and peers who have those conversations about where they want to switch to. Got to be a problem solver. And I think this is a key BA skill. You've got analytical skills, you're innovative, you're coming up with different solutions. It doesn't stop you. So you're resilient. So if you have a problem, you're going to continue on to figure out how to get over that. And you also communicate if there's a problem, and you're going to provide resolution options to management if they're available. I'm not saying you have to be able to solve everything, but it does help if someone comes to say, hey, there's this problem, we may have to pivot to do this. Just coming up with an option is a really good benefit, and it's really good for the team as well. The inclusivity. This one I feel is very important. It's appreciating and accepting differences, not just of age, gender, sexual orientation, race, or religion. It's also accepting differences in communication and leadership styles. And it's accepting without judgment. So everybody is different in their reactions, in their thoughts, in their feelings. So being inclusive also means understanding that and pivoting so that you are listening and you are understanding. So making sure that as a team member, as a BA, you are looking at this and understanding that, this person has a different leadership style. I have to kind of pivot to understand that and maybe switch. Like some people may be more detailed. Some people, might be a very just giving you an independent, just saying, here, let it, take this and run with it. And other leaders might be more, I need to watch you task by task. It's understanding that. And also accepting people are different communicators. And that's something that you have to look at and accept as well. These are other thoughts that I have that I've learned over the years. The first one is your health is your first priority. And this one is that if you are working in a situation, or if you are for a person or any situation where your stress, health, mental health is a concern, rethink that, because your health is your first priority. And I think that is something that people tend to forget. There's this, old school kind of mentality that the more you work, the more late you are, like staying late at work and all this. That's kind of not the way it should be. And your health is your first priority. And remember that. Another thing is, don't say anything about your teammates that you wouldn't say to their face or want said about you. Constructive comments are acceptable. So basically, I put this in because I have seen teams break apart or be completely dysfunctional because there was strife in the team because of gossip, or it doesn't help the team. If it's not constructive, don't say it. Another thing is with change management, not everybody reacts the same way to various situations, and respect that. So you may feel that something is not a big deal, a change or whatever is not a big deal, and someone is having a very tough reaction to it. Listen to them, understand why that's happening. And you may feel opposite. You may think, wow, this is a big change, and you're stressed out about it. But other people are like, it's not a big deal. Voice your concern, but understand that, everyone reacts differently. One thing, don't get angry in work situations. It's not worth it, and react with initiative instead. If something comes up that totally, frustration, I get. Don't react angrily to someone. It is just not worth it, and it doesn't help teamwork. It doesn't help you. Don't promise what you can't deliver. If you're making estimates, try to make them as accurate as you can. I know they're still estimates, but don't try to promise something 4 weeks earlier if it's not 100% under your control. Be honest. Always be upfront and honest, and own up to your mistakes and learn from them. It's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Own up to it, learn from it, and move forward. So these are basically just some things that I found over the years that help be a successful BA, and as a manager, what I'm looking for, those skills. I'll stop sharing. I think I went over. I apologize.
No. That was wow. Thank you so much. I didn't know whether I should start reading all I had wrote on my notes. So appreciating and accepting differences in age, gender, sexual orientation, and also accept the difference in communication and leadership styles. That is very key. Your health is your priority. Your health is your responsibility. It's key. It's very key, And also don't be angry in any work situation. It's not worth it. So remember, it's not worth it. Nothing good is going to come out from that. Nothing good. So stay away from being angry in the workplace. If you have any of those challenges, I think you should just go talk to your line manager. And sometimes it's just good to be quiet, and let the tension go down. So anyway, Sandra said a lot. I'm not going to add too much to what she said. Thank you so much for Sandra. That's a lot of information. We are going to have it on YouTube. Some of it has also been, the summary has also been, is also in the chat. So you can pick those nuggets from there. And now we're going to be welcoming Jennifer Badell. She's the representatives from the International Institute of Business Analysts, the Halifax chapter. She's presented internationally at several conferences in person and also virtually on various topics in business analysis, change management, work-life balance, and our goal is to inspire others to be positive and also influence their projects by sharing our experience. Jennifer loves to look at the world through multiple perspectives. That is why she was selected as the SME for the system replacement project back when she was still a disability claims adjudicator. Through her career, Jennifer, who is a representative of IABA, has been a great resource of knowledge and inspiration, which has led to her achieving a CBAP, which is the Certified Business Analysis Professional, in March 2018. Jennifer comes with many, many, many years of working experience and also speaking engagement. So Jennifer, it's an honor to have you talk to us about IABA, talk to us about what we can benefit from IABA and how much IABA can help us in our career as we progress as BAs. Thank you, Jennifer, and over to you.
Thank you, Harry. I am going to, whoops, when you're finished sharing, I'm going to share my screen. I just have a couple of slides just to show you just a high level on what is the IABA. So let me just set that up. So just to touch on where the IABA has helped me, just going back many, many years. I started, as mentioned in my bio, I had started in the insurance industry, and I was doing disability claims, deciding whether people were going to qualify for benefits. And it was a day-to-day job, and it was an interesting job. But when I got the opportunity to work on an IT project, it was just, wow, okay, this is fun stuff. This is great. So I started moving in that direction, and somebody mentioned business analysis to me and told me about the IABA, which was very new at the time. And we had a very active chapter here in Halifax. So by getting involved with that, I got to explore the world outside of the company that I was currently working in and started to understand more and more about what is this profession. So over the years, I've been involved with the IABA, and 4 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, did complete my CBAP, which is the higher level business analysis professional designation. I'm sorry, I've got a piece of hair in my mouth. There we go. And that really propelled me even further, because I have, and then continue to, as we all do, have doubts about our abilities and our skills sometimes. But going through the BA-BOC, the body of knowledge for the IABA, I really started to understand how much I was following the best practices and how much I did already know. So it really improved my confidence. And I think what you guys will find as you start to research a little bit and you start to look into what does a business analyst do, you're going to find that in your day-to-day life and in your day-to-day work, you are very likely already doing a lot of business analysis activities without even realizing it. So let's start with what is the IABA? And this is taken directly from the IABA website. It's iiba.org. If you want to go and explore the site yourself, there's all kinds of information out there. It started back, like I said, probably 25 years ago. It's a nonprofit association, and the original goal was really to promote the value of the business analysis profession and recognize that to companies, making sure that the business analyst really became a sought after role for any team. So it basically kind of, that analysis piece broke away from the development team and became its own separate discipline. And then we were able to grow that and become our own profession. So the IABA has over 29,000 members worldwide. I think that's even higher now. This may be a little bit old, but 120 plus chapters all over the world in over 40 countries. We've got 300 corporate members and many, many, many endorsed education providers. And that's something that you'll want to look at on the IABA website if you are interested in pursuing business analysis training. it's certainly recommended to go through an endorsed education provider, because then you know that they are following the BA-BOC. And of course, Harry's program also is following the BA-BOC from my understanding. So that is also along the lines there. So anything that any kind of education you do take, you want to make sure that it is going to align with those best practices that are recognized. So benefits of being a member of the IABA, and I apologize, my screen is in the way, so I can't even see the top of my own slide. But we do have the global BA community, where you can attend chapter events anywhere in the world. You've got access to the Knowledge Hub, which is a very new resource available only to members of the IABA. This is like an interactive search of BA resources. You have access to the BA-BOC, which is the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge. You can search that through the website, search up keywords. Let's say you're on a project and somebody keeps talking about a value stream diagram, and you're thinking, what is a value stream? Well, you can search that up in the Knowledge Hub, and it'll give you some background on there and where to find more information. So you've got access to the BA-BOC online. You have discounted pricing for events and exams. When it does come time to certify yourself with one of the IABA certifications, being a member basically brings the price down by the cost of your membership. So it's a bit of a no-brainer to become a member prior to gaining certification through the IABA. As a member of the IABA, you do have access to events all over the world. There was a recent change in the IABA structure just in the last few months, where instead of having access only to your local chapter. Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, did somebody have a question?
Sorry for that, Jennifer.
Okay.
I've muted that person, sorry.
Okay, sure. So yeah, especially with COVID, of course, we now have access to every chapter globally. It used to be that you would be a member of the IABA and then you would be a member of your local chapter. But if you wanted to participate in a chapter, say you were traveling somewhere, you would have to pay extra because you're not a member of that chapter. Well, now that's all one. If you are a member of the IABA, you are automatically a member of every chapter. You would have kind of your home chapter, which would be our Halifax chapter for those of you that are in the Halifax area. But you do have access and can sign up and attend events anywhere in the world, which is a really, really great step forward, especially for a global organization. I've grabbed this just from the website, so you can see some of the other types of events that are offered by the IABA. There are free webinars available. There are podcasts, workshops. The Building Business Capability Conference, which is referred to as BBC, which not to be confused with the British radio station BBC. But this is the flagship conference for the IABA every year. This is where you've got a week of being totally immersed in business analysis along with thought leaders in the industry. I'm not sure this year whether it's going to be moved to virtual. It's planned for October in Fort Lauderdale. So not sure. Last year it was virtual, and it was really nice to attend that just from the comfort of my own home. The core certifications through the IABA, there's the entry, the ECBA, the entry certificate in business analysis. That is available to anyone. You do not have to have experience as a business analyst to study, to learn the BA-BOC and write that exam. The next level up is the CCBA, the Certificate of Capability in Business Analysis. For that one, you do need to have some work experience, about 2 to 3 years of business analysis experience, which you do have to show when you apply for the exam. You have to show the projects that you worked on and the types of work you did. And then for the CBAP, you need to have at least 5 years of experience in business analysis. That doesn't mean that you had to have the title of business analyst for that 2 to 3 years or for that 5+ years. It means you have to have been doing the work. So when you review that, the body of knowledge, you will see again that some of the work that you're doing in your current jobs, whether it is business analysis or not, probably does fall under some of those categories. So you may have more experience than you think. Those are the 3 kind of main business analysis certifications. It's not although it could be progressive, it doesn't have to be. So you can get your ECBA and move on to the other ones, but really, if you've got the experience, I would recommend going straight for the highest level. Harry, you're on mute. I didn't know if you were talking to me or not. No, okay, cool. So if you've got the experience, move on to one of the 2 higher level certifications. The higher the level, the more experience and the more skill that it shows that you have. There are a few other certifications offered by the IABA, and this seems to be continuing to grow. So there's the Agile Analysis certification, which is the next one I'm going to be looking into. There's one in cybersecurity, business data analytics, and product ownership. So as we move into that Agile world, I think we'll start to see more and more Agile type certifications, such as the Agile Analysis and product ownership. So keep an eye on the IABA website for any additional certifications. You do not have to have those core certifications to go for these ones. So it's kind of, you find the one that would best suit you and read up on it. Get the textbooks for it and study, and reach out if you do have any questions about any of the certifications. And last, this is just the main page for the IABA Halifax chapter, and the web address is there on the screen for you, halifax.iaba.org. You will see on here, as we start to post events, you will see them listed here. But again, I would encourage you to go to the main iaba.org website as well, because that's where you will see events for all of the chapters. And right now, most, if not all, of the events that the chapters are holding are virtual. So you could attend, again, from anywhere in the world. We do have an event coming up September 14th. I don't have it on the slides here. It will be posted within the next week on the website. It is called a Technique Boutique, and we're going to be covering a SWOT analysis. So it's a 1-hour lunch and learn style session. It's at 12:30 Halifax time on September 14th. So if you want to watch for that, click to register. It's free, and it's in conjunction with 2 of the other IABA chapters. So you can really start to see how we work together as a global organization. That's what I had to share in terms of the IABA. If there's any questions, or if you guys want to reach out to me individually, I can certainly answer any questions for you and direct you to where you can find specific resources out on the website.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. We had a couple of questions on IABA certifications and all that, and thank you so much for doing justice to that. So I'm sure we already have an idea of the offerings from IABA, how they can assist us. But it's not just IABA International. We also have IABA Halifax, and we have a lot of experienced professionals, especially in the leadership. Jennifer is one of them. A lot of experience, a lot of ideas to share. There's a lot that they can help us, to accomplish and make us better at what we do. So I want to say, please join IABA International. and also join IABA, the Halifax chapter. I've been there, Oge has been there, a couple of us has been there, and there's a lot to learn. And there are lots of programs coming on, certifications, preparation. She talked about the SWOT analysis, one that is coming up. Just want to say thank you, Jennifer, for opening our eyes to see some of these things. And also thank you for all the work that you've been doing in IABA Halifax chapter. And we'll get to meet in some of our chapter meetings and learn a lot more. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to take our questions. We have someone from IABA Ottawa here. I think that's Chinyere, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's Chinyere. Yes, Chinyere Ubani. It's good to have you here. Thank you for showing up, and it's good to have you here. Thank you so much.
So Shanir probably already knew that there was a technique boutique coming up because IABA Ottawa is partnering with us on that.
Yes, we always partner with you.
Yes.
Well, Christina is always the one leading the communication and everything.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll be getting some information out to you guys very soon.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll be moving over to the questions now. And our first question is, for someone still learning the skills of a business analyst or undergoing training, should the person wait till after the training before applying for jobs? So I think this goes to Ola. She is the she's the one in charge of recruiting, and I'm sure she'll be able to provide us an answer to that.
Okay, so thanks, Harry. So I will say it depends. It really depends on what the job posting is asking for. If the job posting requires that you have a minimum, number of years of experience, it's applying to the role would certainly not, get the person screened in, because there is a reason why, the minimum number of years of experience will be listed there. However, I think hiring managers also understand that a lot of people, I think, I can't remember, who mentioned it, during their presentation about the fact that hiring managers understand that sometimes, people have transferable skills that, could be BA related, but are not under that job title. So I will say that if you fall under that category, maybe your job title doesn't specifically say you're a BA, but you have those, BA type skills. I would advise that you apply, but in setting up your resume, it will be important that you highlight those transferable skills before, getting to your work history. And the reason being that the recruiter might just see the job title and think, this isn't what I'm looking for. And the idea is to make it to the interview first and foremost, where you can then talk about the skills that you have and experience that you can bring to the role. So essentially with your resume, you're trying to sell yourself. So highlight those skills, talk about, those specific BA type skills that you have, and make sure that, you project that in your summary of qualifications, and, see how that goes.
Thank you so much, Ola, for that question. And one of the things I'll pick up from that is transferable skills. Most of us here, even if you're a new immigrant, you have transferable skills. Most of us have been working, and one very important statement that, caught my attention the first time I saw it. I'm sure Jennifer has also saw it. I've seen it. I think I saw it in one of the IABA postings. Business analysis is not just a title. It is a mindset. It is a mindset. It is a way of thinking. So you might be doing whatever job you've been doing where there's a lot of business analysis work that you've done. I'll just give it to Sandra. I think she has something to chime in.
I just wanted to say, I totally agree with that. And also as a hiring manager, sometimes your resume and your cover letter, if you approach it as Ola said, and you phrase everything the right way, you may not be a fit for that position. Apply, because the manager may also think, I have a junior position that's coming up that will give you the experience to go forward. So if you're someone who's new to being a BA, then it's also something that I may have something coming up that I may not need someone with 10 years experience, but you know, there may be an opportunity. So, and if you have the right cover letter and the right information and, you know, you are looking in that career, it may be something that hiring manager may think about and look at for later. So I just wanted to point that out as well.
Thank you, Sandra, for that. Be purposeful when applying. Be purposeful. Be deliberate. You know, don't just put generic things. Be specific. You know, and even if you don't meet up, you know, could be considered for another role. So be purposeful about it. Put your best foot forward. You know, that's very, very key and important. Okay, no hands raised from any of my speakers. The second question is also to Ola. Any standard or recommendation on the font size and the font style to pass the ATS? That's the applicant tracking system.
Yeah, I think I get this question most times, but the honest truth is that there are different ATS applicant tracking systems, you know, set up in different ways. So there's no hard and fast rule as to, you know, font size. But generally speaking, I will say if you are designing your resume, usually we would, you know, the recommended fonts would be either Arial or, you know, Times New Roman, between font size 11 to 12. That would be, sometimes I find that people reduce the font size so they can add a lot more information. If you have to do that, then you're probably adding too much information on your resume that should be, you know, discussed during the interview. So your resume, always keep in mind that is a snapshot. So it should leave me wanting more, and which is why I would want to invite you for an interview.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ola, for that. But Ola, what do you think about resumes that have, I've seen resumes that have people's pictures on them, or age or religion? What do you think about that? Or resumes that have, you know, I don't know, for me, anyway, I'll leave that to you. What do you think about that?
So you shouldn't have anything on your resume that could create a source of bias, you know, to the recruiter or to the hiring manager, essentially. So it's not advisable to, you know, have, you know, such information on your resume, because the recruiter and the hiring manager are trying to be as objective as possible in, you know, shortlisting qualified or competent people for this role. So I wouldn't advise, you know, anyone to put, you know, such information that's not related strictly to the job that you're applying to.
Thank you so much, Ola, for that. I will just say this because I'm excited about it. Amanda just agreed to share the presentation, and she's also sent an email with the presentation. So we'll find a way if you're interested in Amanda's presentation. She spoke about the interview, how you should go, how you should get yourself ready, you know, just interview success. So Amanda, thank you so much for that. I'm not putting anyone on the spot, but I just wanted to just say thank you, Amanda, for that. Now, the next question is is to Jennifer. Are there any special benefits for being a Halifax chapter member?
So the change in the structure for the IABA over the last few months is that once you are a member of the IABA International, you are automatically a member and can attend any chapter. So you do not need a separate Halifax chapter registration. You're automatically enrolled. So selecting the Halifax chapter as kind of your home chapter would be done automatically based on where you live. But having that means that you're just going to be counted in the numbers for the Halifax chapter. And also you would be included in our mailing list, so you'd be kind of the first to hear about any events and things that are happening within the Halifax area. But it's not a separate registration for the Halifax chapter. It's an overall IABA membership.
Yeah, and I was also want to add that one of the benefits of joining is there's a lot of meet and greet, although COVID had made that not happen so often, was a lot of meet and greet. And, that actually gave me the opportunities to meet people like Jennifer, people in the leadership, and other BAs working in Halifax and Nova Scotia. So I'm sure there will be some online version of that, but thank you so much, Jennifer, for that answer. And the next question seems to also be directed to you, Jennifer. I'm transitioning into the business analysis field, and my years of experience are in other IT areas and not in business analysis. So where do I start with the IABA certifications?
So with that, I'd start by looking at the BA BOC, look at the 6 knowledge areas in the BA BOC to see if you have skills that fall under those knowledge areas. For example, if you have experience in, you're talking other IT areas, so maybe you've got some experience already in analyzing requirements, for example. That's one of the knowledge areas, is requirements analysis and solution design. So you might find that a lot of those skills fall under the knowledge areas, which means that you've already been doing that. So you could bring that experience forward and see if you've got the right number of hours for the CCBA or the CBAP, which are the higher level certifications. And very likely you would if you've worked in IT.
Okay, that's great. Jennifer, are they still considering taking out the 6 perspectives from the next BABOK that is in review?
Taking out, you mean the knowledge areas?
No, not the knowledge area, the perspectives at the end of the current version of the BABOK. I think I heard they're trying to take away the perspectives and, maybe add more or something.
I haven't heard about them taking them out, but I do know that the Agile perspective, for example, Agile has its own set now, has its own textbook. So I could see them kind of moving that one because it's more expansive in the Agile extension book. Mm-hmm. So I could see some of that, but I haven't heard about taking those perspectives out.
Okay. Thank you so much for the answer. This next question is for Amanda, and it says, when submitting my resume and cover letter, does including sample work items I've done, like concept diagrams, process models, wireframes, give me any advantage?
Not unless we have asked for it. By sending those documentation without us asking for it, it doesn't give you any advantage. Because when we do assessments, we have to do them on a level playing field. That's why we ask the same questions. We ask the same questions. We're looking at the same skills, which are what's in the job description. By asking for, by giving us those, we can't actually use them in our assessment unless we have specifically said, please bring with you examples of modeling work, which I have seen other organizations that I have attended do that before, of please give an example of X, or can you bring an example of a process flow with you. But unless we ask for it, it is not going to be helpful. At least at the organizations I have had experience with.
Okay, thank you, Amanda, for that. It's important to look at the requirements for the job and also figure out exactly what the job entails and also what is required for you to apply for the job. I think that's the important note I'm getting from Amanda. Ola, it says for resumes, is it okay to add?
Harry, I have a question. I wanted to direct that same question to Ola as a recruiter. So okay, Amanda great. Is talking from I don't know if Ola has another point of view.
Amanda is certainly right. Okay. If I am looking at the resumes and we haven't specifically asked for anything of the sort, I wouldn't be sharing that with the hiring manager, because like she said, that wouldn't be a level playing field and wouldn't be an objective way to assess candidates.
Okay, thank you so much, Ola, for the answer.
Can I jump in for a second on that?
Absolutely.
So I'm not the recruiter. I'm not on the recruiter end, but on the second level interview. So I would be a technical interview. So that might be a more appropriate time to present something like a work sample. Would that make sense to you guys?
Yes. Yeah. So I think maybe when applying, depending on the requirements, stick to what the job has asked for. When you get into the interview, the technical or the second stage, like Jennifer said, then you can politely ask that you have some artifacts that you like to share, and then they'll let you know if they'll like to see it or not. So that way you're sure that whatever you're about to present, falls in line with what the interviewer wants to see. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. That was a very good one. Thank you. No, so I'm happy about that, not to discourage people. Please keep your artifacts. If you have processes that you have done, just have your artifacts with you. Sometimes it's required, and you could politely ask, and that will give an opportunity for you to be able to show what I've done. Interviews where they asked, and I was able to share them. So the next question is it's for Ola. For resumes, is it okay to add an ongoing volunteer experience as the first experience before others?
So of course you're welcome to add a volunteer experience if it speaks to, I find that most volunteer experiences speak to a lot of transferable skills that we're looking for. People have volunteered where they manage projects or, engaged with other people, which in that situation might be termed stakeholders and, all of that. So most definitely, you can include your volunteer experience if that's all you have, and it has you can identify the transferable skills in there. Definitely.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Sandra wants to chime into that.
I just wanted to chime into the question prior about providing artifacts and everything. One thing you have to be very careful of is that when you start a position at a company, you sign a privacy agreement. And that means that whatever you produce is owned by the company and not by you. So before you do present anything, make sure that it falls in line with any privacy concerns that you've signed off on. So if you do have something, make sure it does not state anything that would be an issue for that company that you are presenting. I just want to make sure that that's out there, because you do have to be careful nowadays in what you are presenting, what artifacts you are. So putting out there, because they may not necessarily belong to you depending on the privacy agreement you have signed with the company. So I just wanted to put that out there. Just be very careful about that. That's the only thing I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sandra, for that. It's important not to present yourself in a certain way. So, and you just remember you're putting your first foot forward. So you also don't want to make yourself, you don't want to make the recruiter or the interviewer see you in a certain way. So thank you so much, Sandra, for that. This question is for Amanda. Is SQL a must for a BA? Also, I have worked as a pre-sale technical engineer. Can I use this as the same business analysis job on my resume?
Okay, so in terms of is SQL necessary for a BA, it really depends on the BA type of role you're going for. If it's more a business intelligence reporting, then it may be more necessary than a functional. But the job description and posting would give you a better indication. That being said, is it a useful skill to understand and have? Absolutely. Even if you're not writing SQL code, having the basics and being able to understand it comes back to the use of information, which at the heart is what is around for requirements management and all that good stuff that a BA generally does. And in terms of the
pre-sale technical engineer.
Yep. So that's where I would use your resume and your cover letter to really pull out those BA elements that you were doing as part of your role. You would absolutely still call yourself a pre-sale technical engineer or however other technical role you have, but really emphasize, I was managing requirements, I was facilitating workshops, I was stakeholders and project updates, the real things in the job description that you did as part of that role that lends it towards a BA. But really use your cover letters to draw it out and say, I know that it's not a BA role title, but I was doing the BA work, and use that as an opportunity.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Amanda. And our last question, if you still have questions, post them. Our last question is for Sandra. What do you do when you get employed and the job role is completely different from what was advertised? The job responsibility is completely different from what was advertised.
That's a really good question. So one of the things that I do recommend is that within the first few days, you do sit down and you do go over the job description to make sure it aligns with what you are expecting, and have the conversation around, this is what was in, your job description or the posting, but then line that up so that they have an understanding there is a difference. They may have to look at a job eval. If you are unhappy with that, that could be an HR question to be able to then say, okay, this is not the posting was not appropriate for the actual job description. But depending on what is being asked of you, I think it's kind of the difference between, are you still doing a BA role, or is it completely not what was advertised? And if it wasn't, I really think you need to sit down and talk to the manager in HR and just have that conversation around, this was the posting, but this is what I'm doing, and trying to line that up. I know it's not an easy conversation, but you have the option to go through that. The second option is to apply for a different job. That's, but having that conversation with HR and with Harry knows, I'll just say it like it is. But, those are your options, like really sitting down, reviewing that job description with what they're asking you to do with what you have. And then, if you're still interested, but if not, this is your career. So you drive your career. And that's something I think everybody needs to understand, that don't accept something less than what you're worth, what your interests are, and where you want to go. So if you have applied for something and you get there, you start working and it's not what it was sold as, you have a right to question it, and you have a right to move your career where you want it to go. I don't know if that's anyway.
Yeah, yes, that's an excellent answer. And you know, I've seen people come to me with those kind of concerns, and that's exactly what you need to do. Have a conversation with your manager, have a conversation with HR, because even though you want to make the organization happy, you also need to be happy doing the job, you know. And like Sandra says, your health, and not just physical health, mental health is your responsibility and is very important. Oh, okay, yes. Okay, awesome.
There's a question here. So it says, how do I navigate into business analysis without prior experience whatsoever? And I think this question is to all the speakers, like they should be able to chime in. What steps can they recommend for somebody that doesn't have BA that is trying to pivot into business analysis?
I'll go first, I guess. Oh, sorry, Sandra, you had your hand up. You go ahead.
No, please begin. You go ahead. You spoke first, please.
Okay. So I would really look at your background, get to know and understand what is the role of a business analyst. So maybe look at some job descriptions out there, go to the IABA website, look through the BA BOK if you have access to that, understand what a business analyst does, and then start to look at your background, because you probably have been doing some things as a business analyst already. So it's a matter of reframing some of the work you've already been doing and highlighting that on your resume to show that you actually have been doing some business analysis work.
Sorry. I just wanted to mention that if you're coming at it completely from a different perspective and you don't have a lot of experience to add to it, I think if you can, this is kind of where I go with owning your career. So I think it's looking at, if you're really interested, look at the IABA, look at some business analyst courses, start looking at those things and take a few things, get into it that way. So if you're, at least if you then want to transition to being a BA, you have some networking, you have some courses, and then eventually you can transition that into a career. So that's how I look at it. Start familiarizing yourself, as Jennifer said, but also start taking courses. Also start looking at that. So when you have your resume, you can, even going back to the question, if you have, if you're in the middle of a course and then should you apply? I think you should, and I think it's, kind of the same. Start looking at the education and start that way. So you show an interest in being a BA for your resume. So that's if you don't have any experience with that. So anyway, that's my comment.
Just to add with what Sandra was saying too, the library has free access to LinkedIn Learning, which has some great business analyst foundation courses that really take you through some of the key concepts, and it's free and available with a library card. My other chime would be, look at your current organization, see if there is any opportunities, have a talk with your manager, see if there's any way that you could be involved with a project, or look at a growth opportunity where you can start getting some of that experience within where your expertise is, to try and build up your skills that way, and take a different view within your organization. It may not be full-time, but at least you start getting into the mindset and applying your knowledge.
I don't think there's anything else for me to add. I think they've pretty much covered it all.
I would just like to add, say, get mentorship, get a coach, get a mentor, get someone that will give you direction. And I'm going to say it again, IABA Halifax, there are a lot of professionals there, a lot of coaches, Career Aid Up. We have a lot of coaches, a lot of mentors, so just get someone that sometimes you just need, sometimes you have it in you, but you need someone to handhold you, and give you direction. That is why we're here. That is why we're doing this presentation. That's why we've got these awesome speakers, Sandra, Jennifer, Amanda, and that's why we have them here. Ola, that's why we have them here, to handhold you, to teach you, to explain to you. You've got it in you. Sometimes you just need a coach to show you how, to get that which you really want to get. So that's just what I wanted to add to that. I don't think there are any other questions that I'm aware of, and we have exceeded the time we planned for, but it was too exciting to just stop, So I think it's possible. I don't want us to stay forever because people have plans. Jennifer needs to go. There's someone waiting for Jennifer just to go out. So you know what? So I think Sandra has something to say.
I just wanted to add something quickly, and it relates to resumes.
Okay.
If you're doing up a resume and you have a bit of experience, don't cut it down to one page. Don't try to shorten it too much. Go to 2 pages if you have to. I've seen resumes where people have tried to put everything onto one page, and it leaves out some information that experience that could bit is that if you're going to use statistics on process improvements or anything, make sure there is some messaging around that, because it's hard for someone reading the resume to understand what that really means and how it saves something. So I just wanted to get that out there on resumes, and thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm not going to say any other thing. Oge, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, I just want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you. And while because we don't want to keep us longer than now, please put on your cameras. Harry wants to take a picture. I want to just say a big thank you to all our speakers and all the participants for making our time to come here and spend over 2 hours of your time today. We say thank you. Thank you to Ola. Thank you to Sandra. Thank you to Amanda. Thank you to Jennifer. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for the wisdom you've shared with us all here this evening. I have learned a lot. I don't know about you. I'm also calling on all BAs, other experienced BAs here in Halifax. The community needs help. Like Harry said at the beginning of the presentation, we usually do resume review for people trying to apply for jobs. We do mock interviews. People call impromptu. They have interviews less than maybe during the week or next week. We need to look for people to form a panel and do that mock interview. Please, you can join us to support the community, to help us all. And I want to believe you can also see Sandra, Amanda, Ola. These are people of influence, Jennifer, in our community here in Halifax, and they are our friends. So I'm inviting you all to associate yourself with this community. Never know what can happen. Probably Sandra will tap us on the shoulder. Oh, do you have BAs? I have an open BA role. Or Ola could be looking for resumes. So please, there are lots of opportunity here. So you can join our community. I put in a WhatsApp, a group, a link to a WhatsApp group, so you can click to join if you are interested. And thank you very much. Chinyere thank you very much. She's from IABA Ottawa, and she's already saying she's going to support us for those activities. Thank you to the ANS team, and thank you everyone. Harry, that will be all from me for now.
Okay, and Oge is one of the facilitators, and of Career Aid Up. She's putting a lot of helping us, and we need hands. We need help. we need help. I was still discussing with someone yesterday till around 12 a.m. that has an interview. So we need help. A lot of people just need guidance. So please, for those senior BAs here, you can give back to the community. You can give back to Nova Scotia. You can give back to the immigrant community, to the minority community. There are lots of people that just need hand-holding, and would appreciate if you can reach out to us. Just send us an email. Okay, please get your cameras on. We're about to take that one shot. Hold on, I'm trying to get my application ready. And please, a smile. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, cameras are still coming on. So, yes, so I'm about to go in one. Okay, sorry. In one, after 3, I'll take the picture. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the attendees. Thank you to our speakers. We're quite honored. Thank you to everybody, to Chinyere from Ottawa. Thank you for attending. And we'll have a lot more presentations and events that we're going to organize. So please follow us on Career Aid Up, our LinkedIn page, our Twitter page, our Facebook. We have a lot of speakers lined up. So some of our speakers today, you see them come present on different things, and we have other speakers that are going to be coming on. We don't have any free training for now, but we have one coming very soon, and we'll let everybody know about those free trainings. So thank you so much, and I wish you a lovely evening and a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Oge.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Ify.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our volunteers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Ibola, Kenny,
Thank you.
Ify, Blessing, Islamiat. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for the event.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to Ans. Thank you, Babs.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. And for those in Halifax, don't forget to join the party happening tomorrow for Ans. So don't forget to join. I'll be there. We'll be expecting you there. Okay, so